I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. Don't be scared. Just look it up. Don't be scared. Turning back, I won't stop, I'ma fight until there's nothing left. It's so on, you're gonna be hurting bad, cause I've been to hell and back. You don't wanna make me mad, I stay strong, you will never see me crack. And if you get in my way, you're gonna feel the wrath. Gotta say it to my face while he's looking back. Mirror breaks after math, when I hate, I attack. I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. Don't be scared. Just look it up. Don't be scared. Love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up, it's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't be scared. Just look it up. Don't be scared. Turning back, I won't stop, I'ma fight until there's nothing left. It's so on, you're gonna be hurting bad, cause I've been to hell and back. You don't wanna make me mad, I stay strong, you will never see me crack. And if you get in my way, you're gonna feel the wrath. Gotta say it to my face while he's looking back. Mirror breaks after math, when I hate, I attack. I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. Don't be scared. Just look it up. Don't be scared. love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't stop, just let me know. Don't stop. I'm so gone, no I'm never turning back. I won't stop, I'ma fight until there's nothing left. It's so on, you're gonna be hurting bad, cause I've been to hell and back. You don't wanna make me mad, I stay strong, you will never see me crack. And if you get in my way, you're gonna feel the wrath. Gotta say it to my face while he's looking back. Mirror breaks after math, when I hate I attack. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't stop, just let me know. Don't stop. Love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't stop, just let me know. Don't stop.
couple of games to the day today. Now we had a little bit of a break, but right now we are going to see Illuminar against Apeks. Before we get into the games, let's see the schedule. So let's see what games we're gonna see today as well, because there's only 2 best of 3s left, and it's pretty early still. Usually it goes on for a little bit more. I shouldn't say that because I do know how the caster's curse works, but I do want to talk a little bit about also the playoffs here, because they're about to end. Basically, tomorrow is the last day, so make sure you follow all of the action here, because there's not much left for the West Europe playoffs. But of course, South Europe is also on at the same time. And don't worry, I won't be alone by myself, talking only to myself. I'm also talking to Antran, who's actually joining me today, and he's going to be casting alongside me. And Antran, this is the first time we're casting together, isn't it?
That's true. I've done it with a lot of different people, and I know that may be taken out of context, but this is certainly one that I'm looking forward to. Alongside, as you said, the playoffs that have already been going on so far. And the one interesting thing to me is that even though sometimes, you know, you just squeak through the first round of 16 in some of these playoff stages without much happening, you said it was a quick day, but it's not an uneventful one, including the fact is we've already had a few upsets, one of them being Falcons going down 2-0. That's definitely a team I certainly would not have thought would go down before semis.
I mean, they went down 2-0 to Spirit Academy, and they lost 16-10, 16-4. That is a very bold statement from Spirit Academy. Spirit Academy, I don't know what they did to the team, but they're looking very strong here. I mean, ranked number 80. I don't know if they're lowest ranking out of the playoffs. They might actually be, but they're doing insanely well. They won against Big as well as with a 2-0 as well, and the last game today, iNation and FORZE, that's going to decide the opponent of Spirit Academy, and I think they need to be a little bit scared.
Well, I mean, you could argue that, but at the same time, you look at iNation and FORZE, and the things these two teams have accomplished in recent memory is actually quite impressive. You think iNation in specific, these guys have been making other teams go a run for the money, considering these guys, like, they've been in the scene for a very long time. iNation, it's not like there's some new team, but the fact is, as of recent, they've really been picking up in terms of results. Wins over Sprout, Nexus. You've got a couple in the mix there that you probably wouldn't expect. They went close with Apeks, taking down Honoris, the ones who qualified for IEM Brazil, no less. And they've seriously been taking some impressive names. Then on the other hand, you've got FORZE, who just obviously came off the CCT LAN after qualifying for that. They had some impressive results there as well. And they even qualified for the RMR themselves. So there's a lot to look forward to in the teams that go forward. But it's just insane to me that we see both of them this deep in the event.
Oh yeah, and we need to talk about Illuminar and Apeks also, because they're the first best of 3 we're gonna see today. Well, technically this is the third best of 3 of the day, but this is the first for us. And to be honest, I was talking to our wonderful producer here that Illuminar, they're following me. I don't know why. I keep casting them every other day, but I am always happy to see Illuminar. Sometimes they do good, sometimes it's squeaky a little bit. I mean, they just got off of best of 3 against Endpoint, the best of 3 that was supposed to not be played, but it was played in the end because both teams agreed. And Illuminar was actually the ones that would have gone through, because it was Endpoint who couldn't play. They agreed to play, and then they lost 2-0, 16-7, 16-3. That's gotta feel bad, to be honest, but it is what it is. As long as you agree to play, you have to play, and you will accept the result either way. Now, playing against Apeks, Illuminar, I think they're gonna struggle a little bit. I mean, considering how they played against Endpoint, who Endpoint changed the player and are also 1 place less than them. Well, Apeks, they're ranked 36 in the world, and they're looking very strong as well with the latest edition of Kickstone, also almost a month ago by this point.
I mean, I don't know. It's a hard commitment for me. Where on paper, this team, again, really looks strong and impressive. Like we've said a couple of times about this banner to date. Speaking of way back when they reformed with Shocks and all that jazz in the mix, it looked like that was what Apeks as a core needed to take it to the next level. And then things didn't work out. And then they bring in a couple new rosters. Then it doesn't work out. Now you got Kickstone, and it started really well. There was this honeymoon period that Apeks went through, and it looked really decent. They started qualifying for things. They did well. They made it to the RMR. They beat some pretty decent teams on the way there, but fact of the matter is they just come off of going 0-3 at the Eliza series. They have lost to teams recently that you would never expect them to go close with, and I funny enough got to see them in that disqualification match, and it wasn't that great. Like, there were a lot of holes across this team. It was very individual oriented. And when players didn't show up, they fell off. And that's a big problem Apeks have been facing as of recent memory, at least in the past few days. And if they keep playing like that, then Illuminar, there's no question in my mind they're going to steal this away from them. But honestly, I think this is a battle of two teams who need to not make as many mistakes. Which team plays better in the sense of how many openings are we going to give them? How well are we going to play as a team? And how well are our individuals going to show up?
Yeah, and I mean, so far in the playoffs, Illuminar, they won against Havu, and it was only one map, basically, because Havu were experiencing some technical issues. Anubis was the only map played, and they actually won at 16-13. Apeks won against Coalesce. Now, I don't want to take anything away from Coalesce, because they've been playing absolutely insane lately. And for a team that's not unknown, but it's not that that popular, right? And they were doing really well. They won 16-9, 16-4, a quick 2-0 to make it to here today. And we need to talk about the maps as well, because the percentages, I always go on about the percentages. Sometimes they don't really align with whatever's going to happen in the game. We're going to see Inferno, Anubis, and Overpass. Now, we do understand the ban of Ancient of Illuminar. That's their permaban. Nuke, interestingly enough, banned by Apeks, even though it is not a bad map for them. The Inferno Peak, I do understand that is the most played map, tied with well, actually that's the second most played map for Apeks, tied with Overpass. But the percentage, the win percentage is actually in favor of Illuminar, interestingly enough. Now for Anubis, 90% win rate for Illuminar. That's actually insane, but it just lost 16-7 to Endpoint.
Now, I don't know if I am 100% into this Inferno pick from Apeks. I got, again, to see it the other day against Eklot, and they lost it pretty tough. I mean, it wasn't ever really close, and Eklot definitely with a better team that day, but Apeks, they gave away so many opening picks. Their util usage wasn't that great. They weren't taking great space around the map. And that's kind of like the one way to fail on Inferno, to not take the space when you're given it, to not use your utility well, to give away opening picks. So the fact is, not only are you picking into a map that I'm sure Illuminar are decent enough on to play at a high level, but then you're going into Anubis, into potentially an unknown for them, which, I mean, it's kind of shadowed in the results they've had. Yeah, they've had some good appearances on this map, but more often than not, it's been close or it's been scrappy in games they should have been winning a lot more convincingly. So I think this is a very big step in the right direction for Illuminar to potentially take this series 2-0. And I don't even know if I have that high of an expectation for a map like Overpass as time goes on. Again, yeah, it's good for Apeks, but that's kind of bolstered up by results against teams they should already be beating.
Oh yeah, I don't understand. I mean, I'm just by judging how the two teams have been doing on all of the maps, not only those three that are gonna be played. You couldn't really put your finger on one map and say, yeah, for sure this is gonna be won by a certain team. Maybe Anubis, as you were pointing out. Apeks, if they do sort out their problems, I do feel like they can take it the whole distance, but I highly doubt that Anubis is going to go any other way than Illuminar's way, because it is not their most played map, but they do play it a lot. 10 maps played, 90% win rate, and they lost the first one today. But until today, they won the other 9 times they played, and it was mostly in the CCT. Not that it actually matters, but they won against some good teams. They did better than expected, I guess. And I would feel like if the team of Apeks managed to fix their problems, this game could go either way, either score. It could be a 2-0 for Apeks or for Illuminar, or 2-1 for Apeks or Illuminar. But that is a big if they fix their problems.
Yeah, and that is the question on at least my mind going into this series of how many errors will Apeks make and how much will they have improved from the other day? Because obviously it's going to be difficult bringing a new IGL and bringing in a new system and fixing all of your issues pretty instantaneously, but it's hopefully going to be ironed out. I mean, Kixon, he comes in from BLUEJAYS. I talked about it before as him being one of the only real reasons that the BLUEJAYS would do well in global Counter-Strike, or at least him and I believe Castanito behind him, and I believe both have been poached from that roster. And then you've got a ton of stars around him. You've got Nock, who's looked pretty good recently. You've got JL, Jacob, and Sticko, who have all held their own in recent memory, but it doesn't ever really feel like the whole team is there in a series. It feels like there's always some win condition for them that either has to or doesn't have to, or either has to show up for them to win or doesn't show up and they lose. Whereas most of the teams they're going against, like your Illuminars, they don't necessarily need that win condition. They've got the team behind them. They've got this really well-built system to find them success in just about any series. And Morels, he's kind of a key point to that for Illuminar, who's been absolutely farming as of recent. I mean, I've loved seeing these guys in their little upbringing, again, as of recent memory, where they have, well, I actually don't believe they qualify for the RMR, but they've made it this far here. They've had some really impressive wins in recent memory, and even close when it's not a win in their book. I just love watching these guys play, and alongside it, you've got a ton of experience behind them. So there's not really any reason to sleep on them, which kind of leads me to believe this series is more on them than anything else.
And I do want to quickly highlight that we do have the head-to-head in front of us, and the big difference that I want to highlight is the rating is much better for Knock, right? But the impact is way better for Morels, and I do always make the point that the impact is more important than rating. You could have 0.8 rating if you're on 1.50 impact, and I think that's technically not possible, but you get my point. That just makes you a way better asset for your team, because it's not about the numbers that you pull through, it's about the impact you get for your team. And as you were saying, Morels could very well be the key for Illuminar for their plays to manage to win here against the Apeks. Now, you were saying about Illuminar, they didn't actually make it to the RMR. Weren't that far off. I mean, they did win against Eyeballers, lost against GamerLegion 16-11, lost against Falcons 19-17. So it was close calls, right? They did play against FORZE and lost 2-0 there, but it was a good effort for Illuminar. Also, those two maps were really close. So as they are getting their momentum back, right? They did have losses, but they were close. I am wondering what the impact of the game that they just had against Endpoint is going to have on this team, because again, they just finished it like 20 minutes ago or something like that. So losing 2-0, and especially losing for the first time on Anubis, I think that's going to make a bit of a dent in the confidence of Illuminar, but I don't think it's going to be that big, because they're experienced players and they know how to mentally reset before a game and just focus on the game at hand.
I mean, you do bring up an entirely valid point where, I mean, yeah, they've got experience, so it shouldn't affect them, shouldn't on paper. But, I mean, you just think about it being the viewer at home. You go and play a face-it pug, you get blown out. You go into your next pug, you're already feeling awful. That could potentially be the exact same case for a team like Illuminar. It never feels good to go into a game, lose said game, and then have to play one right behind it. So that actually could be a very valid point that I wasn't thinking about, that Illuminar could potentially have to work against themselves in this series for Apeks. They do have a little more time to rest, but then you've got Illuminar on the other hand who've got a little more warm up in them. So it's going to be rusty regardless. It just depends on who shows less signs of rust. But for now, we're going to have to wait to answer that question as we go into a break. When we come back, we'll be ready to kick this game off.
Wasn't a long break, as Antron said. Short break to start us off. And now we are into the game. Inferno as the first map lined up, picked up by Apeks. You do see the odds there. Make sure you check out cct.gg/1xbet. But Apeks, they will start on the T side, as they are the ones who picked up the map. Illuminar on the defensive side. They do have a couple of flashes in a defuse kit on the other side. A lot of utility for Apeks. I do like that. And the smoke coming through for CT all the way from T stairs.
Yeah, they're not waiting for anything for this site execution. Smokes flashes the whole 9 yards. They come through in the blink of an eye, but now they've got to actually find these kills. Beanox, the only one here, unhelped at the back of the site, and his teammates make some crucial mistakes trying to assist. Through smokes they go, but to the grave they'll follow. And all of a sudden, with the bomb going down, feels like in an instant this round is Apex's to lose.
Well, usually you do see the saves coming out up here on Inferno. Well, let's see if they can land the headshot. If they can find the headshot. Well, Mass can't, and neither can Zan. Apeks just cleans it out here on Inferno. You do see the first round going their way. Now, I did see my fair share of Inferno yesterday, and I'm really curious to see how the difference will be made, because yesterday I was in South Europe on the group stage there. Make sure you check that out as well. But here in the quarterfinals, I'm sure every plan will be shown as it is. Very important, right? I mean, you have to win here. You have to get as many points as you can towards that Studio Land final. Now, this is only the first online series for West, but why not get your points early, right?
I mean, you might as well, but I like the way Apeks go into this game. They set the pace early, they do something super aggressive, and they get into the face of Illuminar. And the thing is, too, they had the right idea. You saw on the map they had 3 players stacked towards B for that exact pistol, and they just got mollywopped. So going to go to say that Apeks, I mean, they can walk into your stack so long as they execute properly. Illuminar weren't able to contest. That's definitely a point of note as the time goes on.
It's up to the bull there. JL down to 4 HP. Apeks, they do seem pretty defensive about that banana in B site. And we do see Stico slowly pushing up into apartments. There's a player really close, and the Mag 7, who's about to get some action, is just down the road. Now Stico takes out Zan. The Mag 7 gets 1. Can he get more? No. Long distance, or actually moderate distance, is not enough for the Mag 7. GL finds Suao as he pushes through Banana, but Morels will find Jacob, and that's the weapon that he can retrieve. Never mind. Stico was there to hold it. Beanox in a 1-on-3 now with the Deagle. He can get that AK now, but it's still going to be as hard.
Giving him an avenue back in, though. And right now he has an honest-to-God 1v1 onto Stico before this bomb goes down, but he doesn't take it. And yet slowly creeps towards the site. And as soon as that smoke blooms, I think he's going to have intentions on saving once more. Even going down mid would be suicidal. You've still got JL tucked into the T-step, so it's just a cut-off avenue. And I guess you could be happy that you walk away with an AK here, but remember, this was a FORZE buy from Illuminar, so taking this out isn't the biggest of things for them to think about. You're probably not going to be winning this next round anyway, but I guess maybe you can do some extra damage, try to keep the money limited. That bomb radius might catch a player or two depending on how close they are, but it's certainly a good start from Apeks, better than I expected, but now they got to keep it going.
Now that AK was saved, but Illuminar can't really buy up here. They're going to go for a half. I mean, they could force. They could go for a force, which would be interesting, but it would be very risky for Illuminar, because if they go for that force buy, they do risk having another eco and yet another round conceded to Apeks. Now, the decision is just to get some pistols out here. Interestingly enough, without armors, so they do want to hold on to as much money as they can just to have a very good buy into the next one. But Apeks, they should be able to breeze through this one as long as they don't get into the crosser of Beanox, who has that AK in short. Now, Beanox so far didn't really get a piece of the action, but I'm sure he's more than capable of getting a multi-kill and getting Apeks into an awkward position. They are putting pressure on that B site, and we've seen that Apeks do enjoy visiting all part of the maps here on Inferno. But that just puts a lot of pressure onto Illuminar. It just keeps them guessing. They do know that previous round, Stico was the one to check out what was happening in apartments, and this time they're going to be a little bit more defensive about it.
I don't want to see him toy with the idea of taking car control, though, when this rifle round comes out. But that's, all being said for the future. Right now, it's just Apeks getting ready to group up hit A. There's 3 players here, but I don't know how well it's going to actually pan out. You've got Beanox on the AK, and you want to set him up for success, but walking into 2 different T's doesn't seem that hopeful for me, and while it's a 1-for-2 trade, it's certainly not the AK finding anything on the board, so Morel's last one standing on the actual site before the Galil peek comes through, or maybe not. No, JL. He'll hit the dust, and now there's some weapons to be recovered. Morels is still trying to make a round out of this one, and again, you're going into a bye this next round, so there's no way you just call this up to a save for free. You're sticking around for some extra credit and brownie points when this smoke starts to subside, but with this crossfire tucked in, I really don't think there's any way of Illuminar actually winning the round. So yeah, Mask probably just going to keep his hands on this AK or try to play exits, do some extra damage. Apeks, money could be weak, so it's worthwhile sitting around to try to take these guns out of their hands. But at the end of the day, it is just Apeks starting the game off 3-0, and probably the way you'd expect after the pistol, but I'm liking what I'm seeing so far.
Yeah, they're doing great. I mean, they are taking the map control, as you were pointing out that they weren't doing that, especially in their previous games. But now it seems like Apeks, they're doing their job, at least on the T side. We'll see if things will change on the CT side. But as long as you get the things going on the T side, I don't see why they couldn't turn it into a win. It is their own map pick, so you do expect Apeks to do really well here on Inferno, but we'll see. It was only the first 3 rounds, and Illuminar, they are just now they are getting their weapons out, so let's see if that changes the dynamic of the rounds. They are looking to be a little bit more aggressive in Banana, and wow, he did see JL. Can't get the frag just yet, but he's still gonna be aggressive, and he just pushed it through the smoke. He changes positions with Kixon, basically, and they get both of the frags. They clear up Banana.
Illuminar, they're kind of gifted that round in a box and bow tie with wrapping paper and all. I mean, you see, you run up Banana like that. They have 2 players tucked into both corners to ensure that if somebody comes up, there is a trade, there's a crossfire, there's some semblance of Apeks having that slight advantage on Banana regardless of how many they send. But then they just exchange positions in the heat of the chaos. JL walks through his smoke, tries to take initiative, maybe thinking he fell off or something. And that's exactly what cost them this round, potentially. I mean, still, there's 3 players left standing, but Tawau, he's just taking contact, getting ready to dump down the smoke. As soon as they inch further, there's 2 CTs still here to try to shut them down. And there's so many info pleas being made around the board, including one from Beanox, who's just spotted Sticko's shoulder and behind the smoke, knows at least 2 T's line. They're getting ready to boost up, so if you find this kill, you know 2 players are here at least. Well, you won't find the kill. He'll still catch the info regardless. 38 seconds, and they can just start dumping in utility now. It's at this point where Apeks, you want to go into B, you've got to go through some set of utility. You've got to go through flashes, mollies, smokes, the whole 9 yards. And I think eventually they're just going to go ahead and save this one away with 20 seconds to go. That Molotov ensures it. So, honestly, it's just very one-dimensional from them, and it costs them big.
Yeah, I mean, especially as Illuminar had a lot of utility left to play with, and they could just block the way of Apeks. And at the same time, Apeks, they used both of the smokes. They had a molly and a flash left, so no way they could get into the side, especially as the 3rd player was there as well. Not that they necessarily knew that a 3rd player was there, but they were expecting it, right? In 3-on-5, and they're making a lot of noise in Banana. It is understandable that they're going to need some help on that B site. Now, they did save, and they will be able to buy up once again. But now, Illuminar, there's their chance to maybe try and shake up the economy of Apeks. And that's exactly what I was saying, because Apeks, sure, they got the first 3 rounds. They were doing good. But as Illuminar get their weapons and as they try to get their own map control, Apeks might be struggling a little bit here and there. Now, we'll see if the plan changes or if Illuminar will still try to be aggressive. And Mast, with the op, takes out JL. A second one for Mast. Nock just walked into his crosser. And again, they lose 2 players very fast in the round.
And look at this, too. It's not even like they gave up bracket control at the expense of it. No, they just peek the op into Banana, find 2 kills, and even with 3 stacked up on B, have the confidence to keep this setup in bracket. Now, again, it could still go wrong if Sticko had found that kill and caused a commotion, but the only thing he'll be causing is a death for his team as they fall to 2-on-5. It's Jacob and Kixon to try to pull this one back out of the gutter, and they're still being inhibited by utility coming through in every single direction. And again, they're left into this unwinnable spot where it's either go for it and find maybe 2-3 kills or just save.
Oh, Kixon looking for something on the boiler. He does peek out, but Morel spotted him, and, well, that's the end of him. Jacob, in a 1-on-5, can retrieve the bomb, has the util, but should be very hard for Jacob to get anything done here. He will be spotted as he jumps out, and Morels finishes it off with the frag, and Apeks, they just go into an eco. I mean, so far, I do like what the Illuminar are doing. Their answers are, they're not scared of a gunfight, right? In Banana, they're just speaking. 2 rounds ago, they rushed down through the mollies, or at least through the smokes. Previous round, it was Mass with the op to lay down the fire in Banana. Now, Apeks, they couldn't really do anything about it. And if they keep on going towards Banana, I feel like it's not going to get easier to take control. I mean, at some point, you might understand what they're doing, but so far, Illuminar, I feel like their defense is fairly strong, at least towards the start of the game.
And I love the way that they actually contested Banana that round. You saw that Mask just peeked in with the op. It's not like they dumped in hordes of utility, the 2 mollies, smokes, flashes, nades everywhere. It was just a simple flash and peek card. And he finds 2 kills off it. You've gotten the messiah of Inferno rounds right there. And getting Banana without actually using util to contest, and then holding on to brackets with 2 people. I mean, this is just by the books and great for Illuminar so far.
Yep.
And that shot kind of goes to show it, with Banana control still again in their back pocket. Sure, it's only pistols, but still a worrying future prospect for Apeks.
And I mean, they do get an AK back, but no one has armor anymore. So the M4, well, there's a single M4 on the CT side, but Zan can just destroy them with an M4 without armors, especially. Now, you do know that the CT side is doing very well when they all have an AWP and AKs, but Zan still has to upgrade, so let's see if he can find the AK of Stiko. Mass, timing doesn't favor him, but there's players through Arch. Now, if they can find the AWPer, maybe that could be their chance. JL legged by Mast, but he can be overwhelmed here as 2 players are getting very close. He does smoke close to him, and they're trying to help him out so he doesn't get pushed, and that is just wonderful cover from his teammates. I mean, Mast, he was isolated there for a second, but the players inside, they got rid of the short player, and they were just looking towards long, just trying to deny the access to library where Mast was having a duel already. Now, it is the first tactical timeout of Apeks, and I do understand it, but right now, yeah, exactly what I was saying. When the CT side is going great, you are not going to see M4s. You're going to see AKs in their hands, and well, to be honest, Illuminar, good answer. After losing the first 3 rounds, they straight away get the next 3.
And how many amongst that? I mean, that team play we just saw was pretty damn good from Illuminar, where you saw, as you said, Mast, he was stuck in library. He should have been a dead man after they had already crossed into Arch. And the way they're wrapping him down feels so encumbering of his position. It felt like there's no way he's going to get out of that alive, but then they just play it perfectly. You've got Morels on the site, turning around, holding his Arch crunch into library, ensuring he's only got to worry about that one angle. And then you still have Zan holding down lane, ensuring that if they come out apps, they've got at least the idea of it happening. It's just a perfect on-the-fly setup that Illuminar go with, and it's why they win the round so well. Now, you might think, again, it's just pistols, and it's just one good round, but a round like that can be huge, and this is why everybody starts feeling confident. They feel like they can make no mistakes, and they find 2 kills with that mentality in mind. Beanox, through his smoke, no less, has just doubled down again on Banana. And more kills are going to be required of them, but it's not going to be difficult if you've got Morels finding kills like that. Jacob, it shouldn't have been that close, but they'll still take it. And in the 1-on-4, this round is done in an instant. Again, Stiko can only hope to maybe pick up a couple of pieces in a done, dusted ordeal.
I mean, this round is going to feel really bad, especially after the tactical timeout there, the boost. Never in a million years Morels should still be alive here. Now, Stiko does take him out, but he's in a 1-on-3. Would have been way better if Jacob would have got enough that frag. Stiko slowly backing away towards Banana where the bomb is laying, but he's being held by the AWPer. Flash thrown, but at the same time, Zan peeks mid, and that is just the end of the round. Illuminar, they do get in the lead here, and Apeks, surely something is not going well in their part of Inferno. I mean, now they're going to go for a half buy. They are on full loss one, so if they can manage to get the bomb down when they're buying, they do afford another buy, but now with the pistols, so I don't know what they can surprise Illuminar with, because it seems like Illuminar, they're pretty much ready for most of the plays from Apeks. I'm sure they were studying their plays, right? They were studying whatever they want to do. But so far, Illuminar, they're just having a very solid defense.
And again, it just feels like they can do no wrong. They're playing with this god mentality on the CT side. If anything is the right thing, and it's really paying dividends off of them, whereas you're seeing Apeks now consistently be thrown back to these ecos. Usually you see the T side have a safety net. You get a bomb plant, you have this much loss bonus built up, well, you can just keep buying away and away, but they're not getting to that first part. They're just getting shut down, and finally, it looks like they're going to aim to change that around with a quick take into bracket, assisted by a few pistols. They're just W keying up, and I imagine they're going to go through this smoke when the time comes, but all 5 CTs are now here to play.
Well, smoke comes through, but Morels will push out at the edge of the smoke, finds the frag onto Kixen. There's another couple of players here, but they're not peeking together. And Morels, he just gets away with another one unscathed at that. They're just going to run towards B, but Illuminar, they're going to realize that something is up here. They're going to check mid, and no one is there. And yeah, fast rotation towards that B side. They won't have any smoke to use here, Apeks, and they're already on site. The smoke was thrown, but it was just a little bit late. So they will at least get the bomb down, some extra money. But it's going to be hard to defend the site here in a 3-on-5, especially with only the pistols. They're all playing inside the ruins. But they are grouping up here, Illuminar. JL to take down Twao. Still at a disadvantage here, but maybe if they can find another headshot. Flash was perfect. Zan goes down. There is a chance for them into this one. Beanox, peeking while reloading, and Mast goes down as well. 2-on-2. There's a player on site. Tap the bomb. They need to find Beanox here. They find the frag. This is a 2-on-1 all of a sudden. And Morels, he's defusing, but he's inside the smoke. Knock will find the headshot, and Apeks, they turn around the 3-on-5 with only pistols. Illuminar peeking one by one. I was talking about how good their defense is, but man, that 1-by-1 peek is not what you want to do against Deagles and Tech9s.
I mean, yeah, the 1-by-1 peek sucks there for Illuminar, but the rookie mistake is, why are they smoking banana? They come on this rotation back from A. They had stacked everybody there thinking it was a rush. Then you see Toao and Co. They sprint back to B to try and pick up their default positions. He and Beanox alike get there in time and realize Apeks hadn't gone into the site yet. So they line up a banana smoke? It's against pistols. They have no utility. They just have to hold the cross and the round is done. But they give them the space they need on the site, and they give them that slight chance back into the round that Apeks use against them. And now it's them with all the momentum, them feeling great about what they've just done. And inches away from a potential lead, they've already found an opening pick against what could be a very crucial rifle round from Illuminar.
No, they're a little bit more passive here, Apeks. They do know that they're not especially getting the base that they need against Illuminar, of course. And Morels, a quick peek into mid. JL takes his head off. Starts it off well in favor of Apeks. Now, if there's a nade here, well, JL would be gone, but no, Kixen finds Zan into A, and Mass has to cover by himself with the off, finds the first one, but he might be overwhelmed. Jakem tries to go for the trade. Mass, he will be going down, but that wasn't the best performance from JL. Now a 3-on-1, and Beanox. Oh, you might find Stiko here. It seems like he disconnected. And knife in the back, but it is what it is. The round already happened. But now in a 1-on-2, it's probably just going to be the save out of Beanox. And yeah, Stiko. It is going to be a technical pause probably after the round is ended. But does Beanox go for exit frags here?
No, I don't think so. You know, though, I guess he doesn't molly. We could try to keep that off in the site. Take him down. Nah, I think he's just going to escape. Now, that molly is just a wasted $600, I'll tell you that much. But this round is made all the more horrifying by the way Apeks play it in the final stages, with Stiko having lagged out. I mean, you saw them all sprint into bracket again to try to just go into the site knowing they've got all the leeway they need there, and they give up 2 picks. The only reason they get into the site so flawlessly is because Masked misses that third shotgun op shot onto JL, and they find the double trade. If he hits that shot, it's 1-on-1. It's knock against him with a Tech 9, and a shot I would just favor Masked in all day, every day. It's another one of those slight mistakes that Apeks almost get a round stolen from them because of. In fact, they kind of should have. But while the score doesn't represent it, it was still a very bad showing for them in the finish. That cannot consistently happen.
And again, we've seen that those 1-by-1 peaks. Last time it was from Illuminar, but Apeks, they fought against Mast peeking into Boiler one by one when you know your first player went down to an op. So that's just not the right idea, because with that they gave away the chance to Mast. As you were pointing out, if Mast would have hit the third shot, Mast should have never gotten to the third shot. You should have been dead after the second one.
100%. I mean, after you find that first shot, after you know the opper's in Boiler, you know there's one in Banana, it's not like you should reroute, but you certainly shouldn't be waiting out, or just waiting in the open. You maybe talk, wait to see if he pushes out, wait for your team to arrive, peek it, trade it together, and the round should be done just like that. So, now Apeks, while they did win the round, it still got me worried about what they're going to show us in these upcoming rifles. As we're back into it fairly quickly on, it's actually Illuminar taking the first step. Flashing into Banana. JL turns away, though, and I thought it would have been a freebie pick, but no, Beanox is the one coming away victorious. And Banana's now off the menu as Apeks speeded up towards A. One pit, one sight. It's a crossfire that's so damn difficult to break. And this is exactly why, when you've got util to stall them out, it feels impossible, an impenetrable wall to break through. And Apeks continue to dump their absolute monstrous amounts of utility into the site, which doesn't get them any further. Running out of players and running out quick, they get decimated coming up through lane, and Illuminar finally get back on the board.
Yeah, they do tie up in the perfect moment, right? Because Apeks now, they're gonna be on a pistol buy, so Illuminar can get ahead. Now I am curious about the furthest sides, or the sides that do better for those two teams. I would expect T side for both of them. Yes, indeed, but Illuminar, both of them are under 50% win rate. That's a different call for Apeks. For now, it's not really showing. I mean, it is looking pretty damn close for those two teams. Mast going for an interesting peek there, but he will miss that flick. And the Tech 9s alongside the Deagle and the Glock of JL will survive just for a little bit more. As they're trying to go towards B, I do like from Illuminar this passiveness, not willing to fight in Banana, because it is a little bit awkward to fight in Banana, but as they're getting to the site, well, that should be an easy way to just mow them down, and we do see that from Beanox, a quick double kill. JL, well, he makes it into CT, spotted by Morales, and that should be the end of him, especially with, oh, that nade, throwing him towards Ruins. Now, Knock, he did find a headshot onto Beanox. He find another one onto Tuao. No, because Morales does help. Illuminar in the lead. Apeks, they will be able to buy.
And these rounds aren't even close, which is the biggest problem for the T's right now. It's that they can't play with the CT economy. They can't try to toy around with it and make them go for some of these low-buy rifles. You've got this massive bank established behind Illuminar right now, in which, yeah, Zan, he might need a buy, probably not, but he could consider it with only $2,700 behind him. Everybody else has got a buy or two in the tank, which is that biggest problem for Apeks, to where this op's going to keep coming. The util's going to keep coming out. They're going to invest these rifles over and over again, and it's not the same for them, where they're not getting these bomb plants. They're just getting shut down, and again, it may happen as they push into ult and don't even overcommit. Zan takes his opener and takes his leave.
I mean, again, very good answers to those peaks. I mean, they do peak, they get a frag, and then just get away, not risking too much.
It's how you're supposed to play those aggressions. You don't overextend. You just take your advantage. And look at this hole that it's left Apeks in, where they binked all of their space on trying to take apartments. They've been able to get it the whole game, so why wouldn't they? And now they've got nothing to work with. They don't have apps. They don't have Banana. They don't have Bracket. And they've wasted so much utility on trying to take it that the cost is immeasurable right now for Apeks. They look to reroute back once again towards B, in which there's still Molotovs and smokes to prohibit you from coming in as soon as you make noise. It's not like you can just deal with it instantly. I'd imagine both of these smokes going to be used on the side exec. But for now, they're still showing signs of an early life B site take. Nade is probably going to be the first thing Mortals throws, but I mean, there's only 40 seconds left. Eventually, you might just consider dumping the molly on the common plant spot and then hoping you can buy time for the rotation. Ooh. But how is Masters found that kill? A big whiff from Jacob opens this up for Illuminar. It could have been sketchy. It could have been tricky. But it's just these whiffs that come through at the worst possible time. While they will get bomb plant, finally something to go talking about. It won't actually lead to winning the round. Toao just swings out from CT, takes them both down, and it's another flawless conversion from Illuminar.
I mean, you are never allowed to miss that shot, as you were basically the lurker. He wasn't even looking at him at first. He shot over his head. That is just bad. Just gonna say it's just bad. I mean, you need to get those. I wanted to highlight for Illuminato those kind of overextensions that you were talking about, where those usually show in younger players, right? As they do get a kill, maybe two, they get overexcited and they try to peak again. For Illuminar, their average age is 24, so they are a little bit more calculated. Of course, the players do have the experience that they do have, so they're not going to be overly excited. Only one kill. Now, maybe if they get 4, they will be looking for that ace, as that would be something that happens to anyone of any age, is feeling very confident after you kill 4 players, but for now it hasn't been the case just yet. Let's see this eco out of Apeks. Mass finding the headshot to Stico there in apartments. That is a lot of info, as they were basically going towards apartments only when they went towards A. That is a big, I would feel like that is a big giveaway, but they might not have noticed that already.
I like that you mentioned that. That could be the case, but at the same time, it feels like Illuminar, they're kind of conditioning them to have apartments, so eventually Apeks get into that mentality of, oh, well, we don't have to work too hard for it. Well, at the same time, they've created this subconscious pressure. You think twice now in this whole half. It may not seem like a lot, but it's, I mean, almost perfect for when you're trying to set the standard of not having anything for free. You had that one round where that Jacob went for the boost over in alt mid. He got shut down by, I believe, Morels' push. And then the last round where Zan and Morels both took apps, peeked in from bedroom, got the kill, kept Apeks out, and you could just see this domino effect it's having around the map. Apeks, they're taking a minute to get out of their spawn, a minute to try to get up towards bracket, using so much util to maybe try to keep them out of some of these choke points. It's perfect from the CT side. You're living in their head rent-free right now.
And I mean, it's basically what you were saying in the pre-show, right? Them not taking the map control that they have to take. I was talking about how they were doing better and they were doing good in the first 3 rounds, but now Illuminar, they're not about to give it away, right? They were aggressive in Banana at the start of the game, not really the case anymore. But if Apeks just give them the space, that's basically the same thing. Because if you don't take away the map control, but the enemy team doesn't either, you still lose map control because you don't know and you have to recheck whenever you have to get there again. So that still puts up a lot of pressure onto your team, with as well as the unknown added that you have to check, and anyone can be around the corner, right? But well, let's see here in round 14 as Jacob finds one. Finds the 2 players set up inside apartments as well. Mass missing that shot could give the opportunity for Apeks to get into the site here, because Zan wouldn't expect JL to be this close.
Now they're taking too long for me. I mean, you should just be W keying up with your team after that kill comes through. There could only possibly be 1 man left here, and sure, it's masked, but that makes it all the more incentivized. Now finally they realize the hole that they've just opened, and Illuminar, they turn tail and save. This doesn't make sense to me, though. I mean, you've got so much cash to play with. It's not like you're giving Apeks anything. They've got Apeks, or they've got AKs, they've got AWPs, they've got utility, and you're going to be able to rebuy just about everything except those AKs. But I don't imagine this being worthy of a save. Honestly, just keep the pressure on Apeks. But they do just opt to hang on to their weapons, and it was a very committed setup Illuminar played towards A in that round, where they had Zan in bedroom, or maybe not in bedroom, but stuck in boiler spotting for the initial peak of the stairs player. And then you have 2 in brown walls. I mean, one of the others fine, but when you put them both together, you could see that big gap that it left open for Apeks, where you even saw Mass jump out of apps, throw a molly towards Arch, because they could have been all the way up Moto for all they had known. So it's extremely committed and a read that doesn't pay off. Apeks, they're back on the board, but by Illuminar's choice.
Well, let's see what they can do in the last round of the first half, right? We were expecting to see a lot more saves out of Illuminati. It wasn't the case, as they were winning rounds, but I do think the same about the previous round, where they could have tried at least. They had a lot of money. It wouldn't be a problem to buy up anything apart from those AKs, and I don't feel like those AKs are that valuable, especially as we're getting into round number 15. I mean, sure, 9-6 is better than 8-7, but you do see the headshot and Mass gets with the op, and that's the only one he gets at all. Jacob, well, we were talking how he was not hitting some of those easy shots, but the hard shots he surely can hit. Wonderful headshot hit there onto Mast.
Maybe starting to heat up too. That's what you need from your entry coming into the second half. Going into your CT side, you want your strong players to feel good about themselves. And it looks like that's exactly what might have just happened, but no, not all done and dusted yet. It is a 2-on-3 in a map that's hard to retake, so they just start dumping util, molly, smokes. If you got it, throw it down. Last possible round, so get it over with as they start throwing the counter util in. They've got a few flashes and a handful of smokes, but they've got to find these kills here sooner or later, and I think eventually the cookie's going to crumble and the dam's going to crack wide open. Jacob finds 4 kills off the back of it in Apeks. It's a strong finish to a decent half.
Yeah, not that bad. And I mean, yeah, well, we're about to see into the second half, and Illuminar, they do start on the T side with a round advantage, but again, I do want to make or remake your point, right? Where if Apeks don't get the map control that they need on the CT side, then they can be punished if Illuminar do get it. Because sure, Illuminar, they were a little bit more passive towards the end of the half on the CT side, but on the T side, they could be as aggressive as they want. And look at that, they're trying to go towards A. Now, the trend is that you send 4 players towards A in pistol round. Not this time, but at the same time, Apeks, they're pushing down Banana.
Whoa.
And
Look
Jake, oh.
Dude, they're going through CT spawn right now. What is going on? Are they rapid kicks in or not? I mean, he's still here. If they had just put another player there, then all of a sudden the B side is left so much more vulnerable. But now they're going to have to collapse back into A with a 2-man disadvantage, not having even close to breaking apart the pit setup yet. Knock spotted, same with the Apps player. Bomb should be allowed to go down as he's getting tapped through the boxes. He go ahead and commits. Emily takes a lot of HP off his bar. He'll be able to get the digits punched in. That's still not the question, though. Round out of the hands. It's Zan in a 1v5. We've got some low targets, but when everybody peaks at the same time, it won't matter how low they are. Illuminar, or I'm sorry, Apeks. That was a messy way to win a pistol, but I mean, they'll take it.
I mean, what was the plan there? They went through CT, then decided to go back to always still goes forward and loses the duel against Kixon for no reason as they were going back to this. I don't know, that was very weird. But you do see the odds still heavily in favor of Apeks, so make sure to check those out at cct.gg/1xbet. Remember to, of course, bet responsibly. Now, I don't know, it was a weird pistol round, but we'll get through it. Of course, we go on to the second round as they did get a bomb down, so they will force up here. Illuminar, a couple of Galils, an AK, a Mac-10. Now, it's not that bad. We'll see how they can fare against the FAMASs, the M4s, and the MP9 of Apeks, and of course, the superior utility that they do have into this one.
If comes out from both, and matters a lot more for Illuminar, if you ask me. Again, setting the pace on this T side can be such a strong thing that people don't necessarily think about. But all of a sudden, Illuminar have rerouted up towards A, and it doesn't seem like Apeks have accompanied this prospect. They only keep their 3-man setup. Usually, yeah, take banana control or at least spot it, then you just put a 4-1 stack in the mix and all is fine and dandy in the world of the CTs, but maybe overcomplicating a little bit here. Smoke misses the mark. Nade goes in too. There's one coming back from the T's, and it's kind of chaotic again, but in a lot more tame of a way as Beanox FAMAS at long range, or I'm sorry, it's Stickos FAMAS, seems to put a quick end to this round, and there's just too many on A to worry about if you ask me. Though still, they've been able to get way further than they ever should be and tuck themselves over into this pit crossfire once more. A molly, a smoke, and a flash. That's what the CTs have to come back into this, but they're all split up.
Well, they both get into pit. Now, this is not that bad. The bomb is planted for them. The molly has been used as well. And Kixon goes down to Beanox. They need to be very careful. Jacob, all of a sudden, he's in a 1-on-2. Have they thrown this one away? Oh, I think they did, Entran.
That's a bad way to play a retake. I mean, Apeks, I don't really know what they were going for there. They had that smoke to potentially cut off pits or even use for any avenue you wanted to help your teammates coming back in from lane. Or if you're just not going to use that util there, go help them. Go around lane. I mean, they gave them 1v1s at every facet of that A site. It's the worst thing you can do, and we've seen it consistently from Apeks this whole game. You mentioned it a couple of times on the T side, and it doesn't look like that issue's gone away here.
I mean, the molly was thrown onto the site, right? But your teammates are in short. The main concern is pit. That's where you need to help them out. I do understand you're coming in from library, but there needs to be some help for your teammate as well, for your teammates as well. Now, I don't want to badmouth Apeks, but it wasn't a good retake at all. We'll see what they can get done here with the pistols, but this is not the way you should have gone. I mean, Apeks, they were in a 3-on-2. They ran away from the site. Illuminar got the plant, got the bomb down, and they got themselves in very good positions, right? Both of them in pit. They could have taken the duel towards long, through the headshot angle as well. The peaks from Pete were very, very good. And now with the pistols, we do know the 5.7s are usually pretty strong. On this A site, there is a 5.7 of Knock and also a Deagle of Stiko. If they can hold them at bay until the other pistols come through, maybe there's a chance. But look at Mac 10. Mast is going to be very happy to just farm away some of those kills. 2-0 takes down Knock, and well, that's basically done because they're out of money and they need to eco into the next one. And Illuminar, they get to double digits, could even get more ahead now.
This is the Apeks that I saw the other day. Very timid, very shying away from most of these choke point angles, and you can see the little effect it has on the round right here. I don't think, regardless of how many they had put on A for reinforcement, that it would have changed. But for instance, you look at this round, and it's a basic 3-2 setup, little bit of util on B potentially if needed. Usually the way you want to play that is having brackets control and using that B util to either stop them from coming in or retake car control in the case that you lose bracket. But they do neither of those. Instead, they just give up bracket. They play reactionary on B and wait for a take to come through. A fake happens. They waste most of their utility. They pull an A player off. And now everybody's thrown into chaos. There is no crossfire. There is no setup. It's just hoping we win our aim duels. It's a problem that's plagued Apeks CT side on this map for so long now, it feels. And I mean, Illuminar are not a team that's going to let it slip by. I guess sure it is pistols, but even on a rifle round, you would have gotten decimated there.
And they do lose a couple of players in the end there, so there's not going to be a lot of pistols to work with. Now, JL, sure, he has a Mac 10, but is the Mac 10 the best thing you want to have into this one? I would rather have a Deagle than a Mac 10, but to each their own. There is a Deagle on to Knock, the Deagle that JL previously had, and P250 for Stiko. And we'll see if they can surprise the guys on Illuminar somehow, get themselves at least a weapon on the JL, so that gets their chances even better. Oh, Morels was hurt, but also he was shot in the back. So now Morels knows where the weapon is. He could just go into that B site. Mass is going to be, again, very happy to find some pistols with that Mac 10. Things down to 39.
A good start, but the finish is what's going to matter more. And they still have their hands on this Mac 10, so it's not like there's nothing of sustenance in this round to work with. And if Illuminar make the worst move of the two of going into A, then you kind of get worried for their success rate. Even potentially have Kixon on this somewhat lean. You saw him toying with the idea of cheating around. Only 50 seconds left too, so it's not like Illuminar have all the time in the world. Eventually they're going to have to commit. It's going to have to be soon. I think they're just leaving B-Nox on B to lurk too, so worst may come to worse. Is if they exec into A, it's not only with the 1 Mac 10 in play, but it's also minus one of your members, and they're going to come walking into the apartment, maybe not clearing JL. But that was the only chance back into this round. It was if he had found one of those kills on the SMG. Now it may just be overwhelming of 8 KSV pistols on A, and we all know how that story goes. Bomb drop, though, as Stiko tries to hold with his life on the line. He's able to get one with the P250, which is more than you had given him. But hey, man, it's a respectable outlook for Apeks nonetheless, and Nox still going to give this the good old go-ahead.
Yeah, I mean, they got 3 kills already. If Nock gets one more, that's even more impressive. A full round win would be very hard, and Nock, yeah, he's just going to decide that the AK is way more valuable. So now for a full eco, again, as you said, it's a respectable outcome. It's not that bad. They will lose the round, of course, but still, Mast, Tuao, and Beanox, they have to reinvest. That could give the chance for Mast to play an op, but I've seen some of the teams that actually not only they did not buy an op, but they didn't even pick it up after they eliminated the CT players. So maybe Illuminar are one of that kind of teams. I do doubt it. I do think Mast is very happy to again play the big green here against Apeks, as he has done wonderfully on that CT side. But the Illuminar, they're slowly inching away from Apeks, and Apeks, they will have their buy round, but they need to survive the buy round as well. And so far, Illuminar, they lost. Sure, they lost the pistol, but after that, they were doing really, really well. So they need to be careful here, Apeks, with what their plan is. They do have an MP9 onto Kixon.
No.
No?
Okay.
Oh,
I think he was just holding for a nade over into ult. That was a cool little thing we saw, but not gonna stop them in any capacity. Look at all the utility they've used and what they've gotten for it. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I was talking about coming in. I mean, they had so much coming into this round, and they've dumped 2 smokes, at least 3 mollies, and that's just gonna lead to Illuminar going into A. They're not gonna wait, whatever. Nades go flying through. There's 3 players here, but how can they break them apart? So much damage dealt to Sticko. He'll tell this story, though, on about 12 HP. And Illuminar back away, having all this chaos caused. 4 CTs rotated into A off of that little bit of aggression. And they've even still got util to exec into whichever site they want to. So Apeks, the ball's in your court right now.
and look at that. It was only a flash thrown towards short, and the smoke was deployed on B. Now Zan will go down to JL, but he can just walk towards B because the smoke will fade in about, I don't know, like 7 seconds. And they can find the entries over there. JL needs to be very careful because Tuao is still here, but JL rotated off and Knock is all alone. I do doubt that they won't recheck this A site. This fake is perfect.
I mean, they throw the smokes into B to just keep cementing the fact that JL's going to come through on rotation off that one map lurk. That is how you lurk right there, but maybe not how you deal with the lurker on A. 2 players fall up to him, and while you're guaranteed a bomb plant, anything further is asinine. As it's just one man against the world, so somehow escapes back to lane and gets ready to clear mid. I'm not too sure what he's going for here, but he's somehow snuck all the way around into the apartments, and it's caused confusion amongst the remaining retaking CTs, but eventually this round should just be done as they're atop the bomb. First kill comes through and the flash comes out. Jacob, better angle, though, shuts things down before they get too far out of hand. And Apeks, that wasn't the retake, but it was still scary.
Yeah, I mean, I did see that only a flash was thrown in banana, and the smoke just came through into that B site. But them not finding the frag onto Knock fast enough just saved Apeks. I mean, leaving Tuao in a 1-on-3, a very hard situation, especially how he was going through apartments. I felt like, as you were expecting, peek into mid, try and check mid, see if anyone is trying to lurk, and maybe then you can check out your options. But isolating yourself in apartments in a 1-on-3, I feel like is a very hard place to be in, right? If the smoke would have came into apartments, well, that could have been it, maybe not even losing one more player. But as we restart the round, Apeks get 1 on the board, and now Illuminar, they're kind of low on money.
I mean, it goes both ways, right? Apeks, a lot rides on this round for them too, whereas they're not getting anything into this next round if they can't convert here, and they've been able to suck an MP9 up and at this position. It's kind of overrated to an extent, where you're very limited in what you can do, and well, maybe it goes unclear due to the amount of kills you found over at B, but with 3 kills, you just go in. Again, rule of thumb, you find 2 kills on one side or the other, you should just be W keying up with your team. At most, there'd be 1 more player there. That's the rule of Inferno, and it's not like Illuminar are going to let it subside. Even with the op now dropped on A, Sticko has no safe grounds to walk on. Everything's loose right now. It's rubble under his feet, and he's got to worry about where this lurker in Zan actually is. And that's just to save his gun.
Putting a lot of players in banana is understandable from Apeks, but you need to win those duels to deny Illuminar access to the site. Hasn't really happened, and of course, Sticko is just going to hold on to this M4. Don't get me wrong, it is a nice M4, but it won't help you. Well, it will help into the next round, as you probably will also get into a half buy. Now, if you want to get yourself some nice M4s, make sure you check out Hellcase, our partner at the CCT, and use the code CCT for 10% top-up bonus, working for both new and old users. They are trying to hunt, interestingly enough, even though their economy is not that good. Illuminar will be very happy to keep all four weapons alive so that they can get their economy going. Also drop for Tuao, as he was the one eliminated in the previous round, but Apeks, they need to find more success because Illuminar, they're getting closer to the map point. And again, this is not the map pick of Illuminar. This is the map pick of Apeks. The second map is the map of Illuminar, Anubis, where they are on 90% win rate. We were talking about how Illuminar, they might be feeling a little bit down that they lost against 10 Point. For me, at least, it doesn't seem like that's the case. They are on fire.
And now we get to talk about potential map implications of losing this next upcoming gun round. I mean, obviously, if it gets that far, there's still the world where Apeks convert here, while unlikely. It's worth noting that if Apeks lose this next gun round, it may just be chalked up to Anubis. You're not going to have many more opportunities. And again, they continuously make this mistake I told you about earlier of giving up all this space to Illuminar. And there's no pressure on them anymore. You can see with the way they're playing, with how loose the style is on this T side, they're just running up, faking bomb sites, causing a commotion, and then making Apeks take this really questionable 50-50 gamble of where the stack's going to go. And I kind of love how it's been formatted so far. So much utility already expended on taking some of these basic extents of the map, but Illuminar don't really care.
You do have control of med, but being too aggressive. Waiting for Apeks to make their play is a smart move here, as Apeks, with the lesser weaponry, they're bound to try and do something to get the advantage, right? But they do send a fourth player towards that A site, and Kixon is by himself towards B. Has the smoke to delay Illuminar, and at the same time, Stico finds Morel, so that is a good start to the issue here.
No!
So, wow, oh, no way, he didn't see Kixon. He gets one with only 20 HP. 4-on-3, sure. Stico about to make it a 4-on-2, but that's a lot of damage dealt already.
Phoenox needed that kill, thankfully, for the likes of Apeks, or I'm sorry, Illuminar's success line. And amongst that, him doubling down, locks in the round, but man, was that close. And Stico did almost make that a 4-on-2. This round would be entirely different with that one kill, that one extra bullet landing through the CT smoke, and Apeks, man, they almost made a heartbreaker of a round there for Illuminar, and it was way too close, honestly. Sweat maybe wiped off their foreheads after that round, but I really don't know what to say about it. I mean, they get away with 30 guns. They get the bomb plant. So all is fine in the world of Illuminar, but Apeks, you gotta be having these rounds when you have guns. You have more of a chance to win it. So when you have util to retake sites, like, why does it feel like when they bring the guns out, they get swept aside and they bring out the pistols, and all of a sudden it's a round?
Well, I mean, usually when you're playing the pistols, you're trying to go for a little bit more unusual plays, to say the least, right? To try and get the advantage. And I feel like that should be the way that Apeks need to play here against Illuminar. Try and go for those aggressive plays with weapons as well. What's the worst that could happen? Well, at this point, it's going to be very bad if it happens, if the worst happens. But, maybe that can be a change of pace that surprises Illuminar. But now they're being kept back by the nades. Some damage dealt to Jakem already. And, well, Illuminar, they are just taking full control of Banana. No one's contesting.
Yeah, but this time Apeks don't give up all the space for free. In fact, not amongst that, just do they stay and sit around. They take Banana, or at least car control back with that retake flash on Jakem and doubling down on it too. Very good info play, but he sticks around. Maybe he gets a little too greedy, and with that in mind, they may just go into B. Usually with a setup like that, when you flash somebody in, it's very common to only have two here. And I think Illuminar are reading onto this fact. With only one smoke back and reimbursement kicks, and he's the last man alive, but he done so much damage looking to complete the mission. And he's on the opposite end of the smoke. 2 kills, more than you would have ever expected from the IGL. And with JL's rotation, this round is going to be put to bed. It's all Zan. And all unwinnable as he gets ready to move through the smoke. Knock isn't going to let it be unguarded. Apeks on 10, but we need to see more where that came from.
I mean, Kixon, at this point, he's just the king of playing behind the smoke in B. With the P250, somehow he gets away with a frag. Now he gets away with a double kill. Now, again, the players were low HP, but that doesn't even matter. It's still 2 kills, very important ones. And now the rotation came through. pretty quickly, JL pushing through the smoke there with the flash. Illuminar weren't really expecting them to be that fast, but they've been in banana for quite some long time. And I think Apeks figured out that it's going to be a B hit. A lot of mollies, nades were used over a period of 30 seconds. Illuminar, they were almost all out of utility. So it's clear that they're not going to rotate back. They took all this map control. Of course, they're going to play into that B site. And Apeks, again, read into this wonderfully. Double digits for them. And this could be yet another chance for Apeks to turn it around and to break the economy of Illuminar. But the same thing could apply to them as well. The flash is, the flash is good in favor of Illuminar. Jacob was blinded up. He gets no one, but Kixon gets two. And again, the god of the B side is here.
But he repeats in, he gives it back, maybe incentivizing them to go into what's an unguarded site, and JL is still here with a rifle in his hands, but I don't really think that's going to matter all that much. He has this util that he can't really afford to throw. He can't opt to pull out a piece of utility in the middle of the site. He's got to hold his gun out, and they're walking in, contacting all the way up. Timing is absolutely everything, and JL may peek in for the best of it. Still uncleared is Nubox, and now he gets to make a fun round out of this. Now he gets to have fun with the utility he's got, as he throws in the flashes and Molly again, just hoping to buy time for his team, in which his T has already gotten all the way through CT spawn, through coffins, and is just shut down the backside player. The bomb's dropped in the open, and Morales is stuck between a rock and a hard place as the smoke comes through. Maybe a little bit of a gap to use and get this bomb down, but with 20 seconds, they're going to have to hurry, and the boost, he misses the shot, knock, that could have shut down the round. But now instead, he's just told them, given them a map of exactly what's going on, where both CTs are. And while Knock has found the trade, Zan has all this info to work with. Posted up for the CT peak. He gets, I thought he would get the one on the Galil, but a dink isn't enough, and Knox Flick locks it down. Apeks 2 in a row back to back. And at this point, while the rounds are sloppy and you're bringing them down to 2-on-2s, you won't care so long as you keep winning them.
I mean, the two players in A, Knock and Sicko, they were very slow on the rotation. JL took down Mast, who had the bomb and also the op. But he had the bomb down on site, and they weren't moving from A. Now, I do understand they were waiting for maybe a potential flank, but still, if they would have been faster towards B side, they could have held their teammate sooner than they did. Now, it did prove to be a little bit scary as the shot was missed there from the boost. In the end, Morales did go down as he did plan more or less in the open. Let's see the aggressiveness here, because I like this a lot from Apeks.
Well, you can't really opt to slow down now if you're Illuminar. You've put all your eggs into the one basket of taking banana control, and this is what's going to happen if you don't commit. Well, I thought you'd get mowed down, and you still might. Stick goes in Mexi, and it's not an angle you're really going to be anticipating with 2 kills to your name in this angle already, but it's a 2-on-4, and eventually when Sticko peeks up, this round might just conclude. All of them huddle back towards T steps, and they don't know that there's an intruder amongst them. Sticko finally peeks his ugly head out and finds himself a good kill. But now he's still trapped in himself. Zan moves back in from alt mid, and again, an angle you may not anticipate. It's off, but it's one that could work for a round deciding frag. Zan hasn't overaggressed, hasn't extended, and you wonder where he's gone. Has he been to T steps yet? Has he come through alt mid? Well, maybe not. We don't know with the timing that he's taken, but they're going to walk up mid and hard clear it, and eventually you're going to understand that this is the possibility. Beanox shuts it down, and on a round with nothing but pistols, it looks like Illuminar are ready to send Apeks back to the Twilight Zone.
I mean, I was saying I like that from Apeks, but aggression when, again, peeking one by one, this time against Tech 9s, you're not going to have a great time. Sure, you can mow down 4, but if they're not in a line, basically, you're going to be taken out, and this is not a round you want to lose if you're Apeks. It was Tech 9s. It was only pistols against the weapons. I do understand the aggressiveness. I do like it, but maybe against a buy round where Illuminar are going to be a little bit more careful about what the enemy does, because now they went towards B, saw that something is not right, went back out through the smoke, got 2 kills. Sure, it was a surprise that Sticko wasn't under, but he only got 1 kill because they did expect him. He didn't go towards apartments, so where can he be? Towards T stairs. 14 for Illuminar, and again, not a round you want to lose like that. Apeks, another tactical pause. You're deciding what the best plan could be, but what is the best plan here? Just buy up. I mean, they can concede this one and try and play for overtime. Sure, they're pretty close. Only 4 rounds needed if Illuminar win this one, but again, it is a very important decision to take here.
I mean, I think that round is a really good one to highlight because if you look at like a top 15, top 10 team, you watch how they would play that round. Instead of peeking in a banana, you sit back on that off angle up above Mexi. So when they do come flying back out of banana, when they try to go into T-steps, it is just a funnel. It is just them walking into your crosshair, and it can't be crosshair disruption. And you get to set up with every single one of your CTs who's just pushed all the way through mid to assist with you. Instead, Jacob takes it into his own devices, goes for the peak, loses his life, gives a gun up, and all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose. Illuminar, they are given the perfect storm, and they take it for 14. Almost guaranteed Anubis if they win this rifle. Apeks, this is your last shot to contend on Inferno.
They're coming through to just deal some damage to Morales, but yeah, I mean...
Killed the chicken.
Why... It was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Okay, true.
Now, can't really hold it accountable. Doesn't know what it's doing. It was just having a good time. Now
they know Kickson's here. They heard that Molly.
And well, there's a smoke and there's also Kickson. They need to be very careful about that.
Kind of surprised they don't actually try to go and take the fight and take him down, but I guess safer of the two plays. Flash back in, get the space, lock it down. Now you're probably going to see him go back around and work for bracket.
And well, with only 2 players towards the A side, it might be a little bit hard, especially as the Opper is towards that B side. They're playing this very safely here, because they do know that if they win this one, it shouldn't be a very good buy for Apeks. They're actually going to back away, regroup in banana, and this might prove very hard. They do have a lot of util to clear out most of the site, but can they clear enough? Will they expect the boost, especially? Because Jakem is in a very good position there. Kickson with the MP9 taken out by Beanox. Nock gets one, but look at Beanox, the drive-by. Nock was tagged up. Beanox, he's about to take the third as well. Oh, the unsilent USP gets one, but Mast manages to trade, and now this is a 3-on-1. JL still riding out on him.
And he's got to go for it, man. With the money you guys have got around it, with what you have coming into this next round, it's so much better to try to attempt this here. And when the smoke fades, he'll get an honest dot 1v1, but anything else maybe out of the picture. Spins around in a pool to find a double, but the crossfire of Zan holds on to the round. And with map point, Illuminar have 4 chances to send us to Anubis.
And this is their best chance, as Apeks will force up with pistols, basically. Maybe an MP9, but that will be about it. And it is the final tactical pause of Apeks just to decide what to force up here with, I guess, and how the defense would work, because there's no redo. If they lose this one, then it is over onto Anubis. Again, the percentage-wise, the best map of Illuminar. 90% win rate. They just lost a game against Endpoint, but maybe they weren't showing all they can do, right? Maybe they were trying to focus up onto this one, although I would doubt that as well, because it was playoffs there. So I don't know if you really want to not show everything that you have in a playoff game. They're in playoffs here as well, but why not show all of your cards in both games? Because the enemy team won't remember all of them.
I mean, I don't think it's an issue of hiding cards. I think it's an issue of just Illuminar being the better team right now. These mistakes Apeks are making seem so rookie-esque in some of these situations, giving away so much space, spacing poorly, not holding on to their utility when they need to be, and just giving this all up to Illuminar just about every step of the way. I mean, it's very linear, and it goes to show when you've got, what, 3 players, was it, over on B, and they give you 1v1s, you miss just about all of them? I mean, it's the worst way to lose a round in Apeks. There's certainly something foundationally wrong right now to have to be looked at. I think Illuminar are just going to start to move forward with this one. Maybe even ego peaks, as some would call it. You've got 3 of them just solo peeking CT, trying to find an opener on B. You've got a lurker at A, Zan, who tried to take a fight in bracket. Illuminar, I think they understand the sign of the times.
Regrouping towards that A site. And well, the smokes will come through, and Apeks will understand that this is the final point of attack for Polish squad. Only comes through. Siko in a good position, but he doesn't get. He gets the first one. There's the trades from Illuminar. JL has to get more, tries to go for more, and he gets Beanox as well. Now there's a wrap coming through from Toao, but JL is still on site with the MP9. Low HP, he will be eliminated, but now he's a one-on-one, and Kixon nails the headshot with a 5-7, saving Apeks and getting them to 12. And again, that was their best chance for Illuminar. Apeks, now they're gonna have weapons.
That is how you play A-side anchor. That is perfect to a T, flawless from JL. He finds a kill, he waits, he stays alive. He finds another kill when they push him down, he waits, he stays alive. And even though it seems silly in the end, him dancing around the site, playing around the pillar, not committing to a fight, look at all that it does. Kixon is a B push. He's a B anchor. So the fact is, JL individually got enough time for Kixon to come all the way around and into the site before he fell. It was perfectly played by him. And now that best chance we talked about may turn against them. Illuminar losing 2 instant opening duels. Now Apeks are starting to feel themselves and heat up a little bit. This round seems out of the question for contention. This was a whole out investment from Illuminar, so even they needed this round. 13 is almost going to be given off the backbone of the openers. They've already delivered. Mast moving up, looking for the kill on Kixon, but the overextension takes away his life, and Apeks are looking flawless in this one.
Yeah, well, very, very well done so far. Now Zen does find one, and Morels with a couple. Now this is a 2-on-2. Zan gets one onto Knock. No way! This is Tico in a 1v2. All of a sudden, 50 seconds left. This was a 2-on-5, Antran, and Tico now has to do it by himself. He went towards B. But will they read into the situation? Right, the molly thrown, only to fake it out. Oh, this is very good. They're gonna get themselves in good positions. Oh no, this is gonna be a disaster if they actually would lose this one. And it's all riding down on Tico.
I mean, they did all the heavy lifting, all the hard work. Why is there 2 more individual repeats coming through in that round? There's no reason for it besides greed. And Sticko now has to pick up the pieces of said greed as he's starting to walk up through Moto. Committing to the fight, though, again, is Morels. Zan's behind him, and Sticko doesn't seem to know. But it's planted for him, so eventually you're going to contemplate this idea, moving back into the site. Sticko still seems to have no idea of it, and it's the Tech 9 of Zan to bail them out at the final hurdle. A 3K from him and a hat trick, shuts down Inferno, and rips it away from the dreams and hopes of Apex's comeback chances.
I mean, we were talking how their best chance was against the Pistols, and then they do it when they have the least chances to win the round. It's just a weird finish to the game there, but that was only the first map. It goes the way of Illuminar. Now that's the big problem, because the second map is very good for Illuminar. It is their own map pick. Before we get into Anubis and before we get into the break, make sure you check out, well, the other region that's being played at the same time. Voivoda is playing against Websters. They're leading 1-0 in terms of maps, so that's being played on the second stream. And at the same time, make sure you check out cctour.gg, where you can find the schedule, the regional rankings, the CCT bingo brought to you by Prosper, and the CCT stats brought to you by cover.gg. We're gonna go we're gonna throw it to a break. When we come back, it's gonna be Anubis between Illuminar and Apeks.
hunger for glory feeds the desire, the courage to look for a challenge, to feed your ambitions. To reach for greatness. To become the champion of champions.
A very complicated job, but I love simple things so much. One move. One push. One touch. One love. One click. One XBet.
Win up to $1 million with your CSGO esports predictions. Simply guess the kill scores of the 10 players in a CSGO match. The more you guess correctly, the bigger the prize. You'll need at least 2 correct predictions to win a prize. Guess all 10 correct and win $1 million. Experience the exciting new way to add a little prosperity when watching esports tournaments. And register now to receive a free entry ticket upon sign-up. Predict kills, win millions, prosper.
Are you sick of just opening?
And we are back unexpectedly, as was a little bit of a mix-up there. We were scared. I thought it was starting earlier when the intro played, but it's okay. We're just mixing it up, just keeping things interesting. Now, let's see if Apeks are gonna mix it up, because now they need to play Anubis. Now, this is not their worst map, but it's a very good map, arguably the best map of Illuminar. What are we thinking about this one, Andran?
I couldn't tell you, man. I mean, look, I already from this series kind of understood that it wasn't necessarily going to be up to the maps, but how Apeks played. Because I think in hindsight, you look at it from the beginning and say, okay, well, let's say Apeks show up. They look like the team they were in that honeymoon period when they originally brought Kixen in. Then it's probably their series to win in the long run 2-1. But when we see what we saw in Inferno, where it's so individual oriented, where it's one person either winning them the round or everybody peeking, swinging from the benches and throwing it away, I just don't think there's a world that Apeks can bring this back. I mean, you talk about how good a map it is for Illuminar. You talk about how good Illuminar have looked, not only in just defaults in rounds, but even on the fly. We saw a couple times Illuminar just looked like a far better team. And then the way they were conditioning Apeks too goes to show they are clearly a step ahead of them, at least just on paper, not even just on paper, like in execution. The score may say it was close, but it probably shouldn't have been that close. There was a couple rounds given away to them by Illuminar that probably aren't going to happen again on a map like Anubis.
And well, the only thing that I guess Apeks got going for them is that Illuminar just lost the map today, like maybe an hour and a half ago, right? They lost to Endpoint 16-7. It was not the best T side from Illuminar. That usually it is their better side, and the CT side just got one round on that side. So maybe with that in mind, maybe Illuminar, they're not that confident anymore in this map. Maybe they're thinking twice about the decision that they're gonna take, and maybe Apeks can surprise them in that point. But I do feel like it's gonna be hard to surprise Illuminar, especially as we were saying constantly throughout the first map that Apeks are not doing what they're supposed to do, not taking control of certain areas. And I always highlight how I feel like on this map, water control is going to be very important for the team on the CT side. And if Apeks don't really aggress towards that position and don't get that space that they need to put pressure onto Illuminar, I can only feel like Illuminar are just going to have their way with the map.
I mean, yeah, alongside that, this usually is a map that's courtesy or very favored and oriented towards T's. So when you've got a team like Apeks, who didn't do all that much on their T side, who left a lot of holes open on the offensive perspective and never really took too much initiative besides it being very linear, I don't know how well that's going to work out against a team like Illuminar. And I think the same teams, or rather even better teams on the T side, have fallen that same problem against them because of how Illuminar play and format their defenses. I really don't know what to say about it other than we're ready to go into Anubis. Hopefully Apeks can turn it around.
Well, at least they start on the CT side, which is, if I think about it, not, well, it is the unfavored side on this map, interestingly enough. T side still being very strong here on Anubis. And Illuminar, they're looking to play through mid as Apeks trying to take some info. The molly and the flash, or the smoke, come through. And JL, he's going to be looking inside connector. The nade should deal a lot of damage. Good headshot to find first. Tries to go for a second one, but the dualies of Stico are going to do the heavy lifting just for a second more. Kixen pushing through the smoke here with Jacob is very risky. They're actually going to boost behind the smoke. And Mast, he does see Jacob, knows that Kixen is also there. And they should have the info that basically the site will be clear. Morels in heaven, spotted by the first player, but he takes down Knock. And now this is a 1-on-1 as Kixen gets the frag onto Morels. The P250 at Mast, he can find the headshot. Finds a quick tag, and the P250 does hurt more than the Glock. But let's see if Kixen will be able to see the head of Mass. Well, he sees it, but it wasn't able to take him out. Gets the Glock, and he will get onto the bomb, actually sticking the defuse, the 10-second defuse. Mass, will he expect this? He's going to peek, but Kixen he's still defusing, and I don't know if he can see him. He doesn't get him in time. Gets the frag, but the defuse was completed. And as they say, pros never fake.
And honestly, the big part of that is that usually when you go for that stuck defuse, it's as simple as 1, 2, 3, right? You don't know. Nobody really knows the count to like 7 or 8 when it's the full 10-second defuse, and you don't know if he's got a kit or not. So you maybe even think to yourself, okay, well, it's been 5 seconds and he hasn't already gotten it, so he's probably not on it. And it's what really cost Illuminar that round. In the end, they did so well to bring it back. Maybe committed a little more than they could have, or than they should have. Even that last one, I believe, Morels and Heaven probably could have just tucked behind the pillar and then play contact with his teammate. But I mean, yeah, it's just a good start and a good finish from Apeks. The mid-round isn't really something to worry about, considering they finally got a good conversion on the board. The back may not be doing them many favors, or maybe it will. Beanox, great opener. And with a Deagle, you can be okay with a trade like that coming through, but now it's the rifles that have to make their mark.
Go. He gets one, but is traded by Morels. Now, it's a 3-on-3, but JL is very fast on the flank, and he should be able to surprise Illuminar here as he's getting in behind them. Wow is towards B. Are there... Well, they did get bombed down. I was thinking maybe they want to go through CT towards the other site. JL with the flank. Now he has been spotted, but now he's mostly up to Tawao as he's trying to flank through connector. Morels will try to get a duel against Jacob, fails it, and now Tawao with only Mac 10 gets a frag, but the long range duel won't favor him at all, and the bomb is being defused by Nock. Tawao has to hurry up. Of course, Nock is just going to hold the defuse, and it will be the headshot from JL onto Tawao to finish off that duel and close it as a round for Apeks.
Yeah, I really like what Illuminar did, at least in the showing of this round, where you have that lurk from Toao to potentially give you an open avenue towards A, or I'm sorry, B if he finds it, but then they go on A, then they get the bomb down, they have the site control, and either they don't give Toao enough time to go through on the flank, or Toao is just too slow on that flank, because either way, it's just two different paces of the round that Illuminar want to try to play, and it really destroys them, where the A site hold was almost hoping that Toao was going to get there in time to be this magic hero on a big steed, and Toao was hoping that they would be able to buy him enough time to activate, so that's just, it feels like a miscommunication there, and it's going to cost them a 3-0 start.
Now in a 5-on-3, trying to work into that B side, kicks and nails the headshot to Zan, will peek out again, and he will keep on spraying, but he runs out of bullets, has a teammate to back him up. They do get a flawless round, which is very important for their economy, but Illuminar, they did buy into the previous one, so they will be forced to use the pistols again. Now, the pistols are not really all that bad for Illuminar. They helped them win the last round of Inferno, so let's see if on Anubis, they're going to have a solid plan as well. I'm sure they do have some nice skins as well. And if you want to get yourself some nice skins, make sure you check out Hellcase, our partner at CCT, and use the code CCT for a 10% top-up bonus. Now, Apeks, and we'll be getting into position here. They need to be careful of the close-range duels. But of course, with that molly, Jacob is trying to avoid exactly that. And we'll see if JL can hold his own against the pistols that are going to push through the smoke.
Well, here's them all pouncing around him, but he realistically can't escape with how many players have already pressured down the position. It's a rifle to be recovered and maybe even an advantage to hold on to as well, but Jacob's flank restores normalcy to the situation, and this boost, oh, it's disassembled. I thought it would have been the round-winning play, but now they've allowed them to actually sneak over into the A-bomb site, and again, they're going to get this post-plant spot with almost an extra kill to add up to it. Morel's already allowed so much more than he should be on the Tech 9, almost finds himself every kill necessary to win the round, and you've got to go for this if you're Apeks. So much cast to play with, so much riding on this to maybe get yourselves a really good 4-0 start, but eventually they decide to pack it in and give it over. Illuminar, what better way for them to get on the board than with Tech 9s?
Well, surely a round that you didn't expect to end this way. Apeks shouldn't be too happy about that, and they also lose kicks. And now I was saying how it was very important for the economy of Apeks with that flawless round, but they are going to need that economy right now because they need to rebind to this one. They will lose the round against the pistols, and that is very surprising, but Illuminar, just a solid round, and if they can get the ball rolling, again, it is their map pick. It is the map pick that Illuminar are usually doing very well on.
Now, one thing that's surprising me is the fact that Apeks aren't throwing the default nade towards water or towards the T-stairs, which you usually see teams start to do in the current meta. And it could be doing them a lot more because, I mean, there's players for Illuminar going there every round, and if you have the timing right, if you have the lineup right, then it's just like a free 100 damage every round that Apeks aren't taking. It's a minute detail, but it's one worth noting.
I do understand the tactical pause, right? I mean, losing against the pistols is never fun. It does happen from time to time, especially against Illuminar. Another tactical pause. Okay, this is very interesting. This is very early in the game as well. Thinking maybe something's not really going right on the side of Apeks.
Well, it is still a good start, but you want to think of good starts, go ahead and remember back to Inferno, where Apeks started 3-0 and then lost the next 4 rounds, 8 out of, I think, 10 from that point forward. So, strong starts have not been to the advantage of Apeks, it seems, in the long run. Now that's going to have to change. And they've got another buy to bring out to try and maybe reinforce that fact, but if this one goes down, then it may literally be the exact same route that Inferno took.
If we're gonna go that way, or if Apeks wanna build another narrative for this map. Oh, quick peek from Knock. Tag on the Beanox, but not the kill, so and it's still not the way you wanna get the entry. Knock will be fast on the rotation though. I do like that he's very active with the big ranges to make sure that he can help his teammates, but at the same time, Cave is kind of open. They can just push through the smoke. JChem peeks into main. Tuao takes him down, but he's down to 2 HP. So now there's 2 low HP players on the side of Illuminar. But still, they have a player advantage. So that is very important because they can cover a lot more of that map than Apeks can. They are focused on the B side and also mid. They're going to start to rotate through. Gixen gets 1 onto a low HP player. Almost lines 2 more up. Tuao will trade. Morels finds Knock. That frag onto Tuao makes it a 2-on-2.
Lights open, though, and they should be able to get a free bomb plant down out of this. But the post plant matters a whole hell of a lot more. You let Apeks back in before you can tuck yourselves into them, and all hell will break loose. But this is one of the most common positions you see on these post plants, so I can't imagine it goes uncleared. Little utility left from both teams. It's really going to come down to the aim duels, and Morales has just played it perfectly to buy for all the distractions Zan should need. Molly goes through and forces Morels into the open. It's a one-on-one with him on half HP. Barrel's exposed, though, so Zan should have a free time getting it. And as close as it is, it's no cigar for Apeks, which means it's back to Pistolsville.
We were seeing how the economy was very important. Now that economy is gone. So as you said, it's going to be pistols. And not a lot of upgraded pistols at that. I mean, we do see 3 P250s and a 5.7, but no armors. Illuminar. They could tie things up here again very fast, which is very important. Oh, they've been heard pushing through mid, and they do get a couple of kills. They also get the bomb. This is a very good push here from Apeks. Did surprise a couple of players. Let's see if they can take them all down. Morels trying to cover for that AK that was lost. Now 4-on-2, and they still need to be very careful of those AKs. There's a lot of util that Illuminar can still use, but Morels goes down to Jakem, and now it is all up to Beanox.
Now tell me why this is the most coordinated we've seen Apeks all day. Like, I mean, it's good on them for winning one of these rounds finally, but where is this in the rifle rounds? Not necessarily the audacious 5-man mid-push, but where is this buddy system when it matters the most? When you're taking space over an A main, when you're trying to push B main, when you're trying to take connector or water control. It's never there. If they added this into the picture in mid more when they were trying to do something or take space, or even using it to help hold on to A, then this would be so much more one-sided for them.
And well, that also helps with the odds there, as we've seen. Of course, our partner 1xBet. But the thing is, Illuminar, they were surely surprised about that. And they were surprised exactly of the fact that they were very coordinated. And they do call for a tactical pause. Not a round you want to lose, especially against 3 P250s and a 5.7 without armors. But the play did go through well. They were hurt at first, which makes me wonder why they were a little bit late on the reaction there to trade out their teammates. But in the end, it will be a forced buyout of Illuminar. They're going to try and answer back, but they're going to be against full-on buy from Apeks this time. Not going to be a full eco, not going to be P250. It's going to be the AKs that they got back alongside the M4 of Knock. So let's see what Illuminar can get done here, because again, this is Illuminar's map pick. Sure, this is a very good map for Illuminar, but they did lose against Endpoint, and I don't think they want to lose against Apeks as well.
Absolutely not. I mean, that would not only go to tank the little record you've established yourselves on this map, but it would tank your mentality on it going forward. We did talk about that little X factor for Illuminar in the pregame and postgame of last, of maybe it will affect them in the long run of, oh, we just lost on this map, we really want to play it again, because right now you can kind of see some holes in the armor. And Illuminar are consistently getting punished for them, it feels. Now Sticko decides to retake the lost space, and it's going to cost them big time. The whole advantage they found on A crumbles, collapses in front of them. Kixon's still here, but he's the only one kicking, so to speak, and all he can do is hope to buy time for his teammates to come through, maybe even soon disband this smoke, but Jacob's now arrived on the scene, and even though Kixon's burning, it's come back to a 2-on-2. Rotations required, and I think Illuminar are going to beat them to the punch, but doesn't mean Jacob isn't going to have a fighting chance in on this site hold. The bomb plant should be pretty much guaranteed, though. And again, he's got to go for this 2-on-2 post plant if it even gets that far. Jacob gives up his life preemptively, and now Kixon's on half HP trying to make magic happen.
No smokes to use for Illuminati, at least Kixon has that going for him. He has a molly as well. He can check one of those angles with a molly, but still, if he throws it, they're going to know. And Morales, he's just going to get a frag onto Kixon as he's slowly peeking in. Illuminar, they do fall to a full eco of Apeks, but now they do win the following round. And again, Apeks, this time they're going to be able to buy some things, but Illuminati, they're gonna feel very good about that round that they just won. Let's see if they can surprise Illuminati once again. Try and keep their try and hold on to those CT rounds, right? If you get at least close with Illuminati, I feel like Apeks do have a chance, but they really need a strong T side showing, and I do wonder if, well, percentage-wise, CT side is better for Apeks, but they're not bad on CT side or on T side either. So I guess we can see, or we could see some surprising things from them on the T side. But again, they need to at least stick close to Illuminati here as they're trying to get as many rounds as they can on that T side.
Yeah, though this is already a good showing from the defense, and it opens up the round once again. Jacob perfectly timed on the pick over in water. Morales is just blindsided by the prospect. He's been the X factor for them in this game too, so the fact that they have to work without him in one of the most important rifle rounds for them to date, going to be more difficult than you could ever imagine. Beanox, the second one you'd expect to show up, has now hit the dust too. And while you know where so many of these CT players are, it's just the kills that aren't following suit. And again, it's Jacob to continue extending this advantage. That's the team play we've been waiting for. The double peaks, the triple peaks, the quad peaks, for all God's sake. It's what Apeks needed, and we're missing on Inferno that seems to have shown up here to potentially give them a new lifeline. Now, still, it's early days on, but this is a really good look from them so far.
Trading rounds here, it's not that bad, to be honest, because it keeps the economy of Illuminati low. And we're on the 1400, and we could very well see well, it could be seen in a force buy or a full eco, and they are deciding to go for that full eco, basically. Only the Glocks and a single deagle bought out by Morales. Mass, he is baiting out the push with the Glock, taken out by Knock, but it will be, they might be overwhelmed here. A couple of players go down. They make it a 3-on-3. Morales has armor, so there is a chance into this one. There is a second weapon that they can retrieve. That's the MP9, but that won't be that helpful, to be honest. I mean, better than the Glock, but I wouldn't say better than the Deagle. At the same time, Apeks, they're starting to get aggressive towards water, and I do like that from them.
I wonder if this is one of the times they're going to go around the long way. Not take steps, see if they can't pressure down a player or two more. I mean, they could also opt to potentially silent go into A without Apeks even knowing about the possibility. B is still open, so eventually they're gonna have to subconsciously wonder about this. Oh, but no, they fire off a shot preemptively, but still, Morales is here in the nick of time to keep things even. And Sticko's now the one to worry about on the Apeks side, as he's the only one left on B. Raynox for the Deagle. I mean, look, if he had found that trade, then Illuminar, it would have been their round to lose, but again, just missed spacing at the final hurdle cost some big time in Apeks. A scary round is held on to.
A lot of damage still, a lot of damage to keep the economy kind of low. Although there's 3 players with more than enough money to buy up once again. But Illuminar, they're the ones trying to force Apeks into an eco. Because again, they want to get close. Because I was saying how Apeks, they need to stay close with Illuminar if Illuminar get going. But so far, they haven't gotten going, right? They're basically just walking at this point, and they need to start running. So let's see if they can start running in the end. Because I like this a lot from Knock. Being aggressive, there's a lot of map control that Knock has at this point. It was spotted by a couple of players, but it just means that's a lot of pressure onto Illuminar.
And it seems like they know about this potential to go around the long way. You see, Knock doesn't actually stick around, and that's pretty smart. Takes all the water control for his team, but I don't necessarily like that they don't do anything with it. Now you can see the walk back up middle, and Illuminar hitting these extremities pretty well, and at the perfect time, Apeks leave a gap open for a millisecond. It seems like Illuminar are going to take it. Kixon's still deep in middle, but a smoke's going to prohibit him from contending for the round. They want to go through short, but there's just so many bullets raining through these smokes that it doesn't matter how many you have. You're just going to get shut down. Kixon, the IGL of all players to win it for them, it's him. Now a big task in front of the remaining 2. Morales can't even think to crawl back into it, and combined with Kixon, it's a full house between him and Knock for a 7th of Apeks.
Well, I mean, I don't think anyone ever expected this to go this way so far. By the way, the first map has been looking. I mean, Illuminar not really showing as they were on Inferno. Again, 90% win rate on this map, and maybe that loss against the Endpoint is coming back to haunt them. Was there where they got 9-6 by Endpoint when they were on the T side, and then they won only 1 round until the map ended. And with the pistols, they're going to try to push in, but that's how you shut down a full eco push. Kixon gets himself a 3k 12. I highly doubt that you should play without head armor against full pistols, but that's the only one he's going to get with the Glock, and the AUG will be retrieved by JL. But Apeks, they cannot be overtaken by Illuminar here in the first half. They've been playing very well here on Anubis.
I don't know if I've ever seen that. I don't think I've ever seen a Glock win a duel against a rifle like that. Raw aim duel, not like it was in the back. He just took a swing and it worked. That's hilarious. And funny enough, it's Apeks calling a timeout after that one. Still trying to adapt and continuously throw new things at the plate of Illuminar, who are still playing the catch-up game by 4 rounds down. I mean, we talked about how this map can be pretty one-sided at times, but it's not for the CTs. Not 8-3 in their favor by any stretch. This just goes to show how well Apeks are playing this right now. You start to see them taking a little more initiative. You start to see them winning more of these opening duels. And when they're taking these fights, these individual fights around the board, well, it never is individual. It's with somebody else. It's always with extra people.
Let's see what Illuminar got to talk about in that tactical pause called by Apeks. Because those tactical pauses can also backfire from time to time. We'll see if that is the case. Trying to be maybe a little bit more aggressive could be the key into surprising Apeks, but at the same time, Apeks, they're holding them at bay very well. JL already found the frag onto Toao. I think that was through the smoke in mid, but it's still a find nonetheless. Morales takes down JL, and Jacob will peek as well. Ooh, he finds Mass as he's reloading. Had a chance to take down Morales, but he will abandon that duel as they are at a numbers advantage. 4-on-3 with Knock tucked in the corner here. And well, if they push in or if they slowly walk into B, he might not actually check that spot.
Yeah, but this will certainly go checked. Jake, oh, no way. That's the worst timing to give up the angle. And it's not like it's completely forgotten. Kixon's taking the reins over in middle, but the 1-for-1 trade that may not be as welcoming. 2-on-2 left in the situation, and Zan's still trying to make a case for this one right here. You don't know where Knock is, and eventually he'll peek out to ruin your day. But this situation a lot more winnable than the last. Zan can give it the good old college try as he moves back into boat. He's got every little resource available to him. Molly's flashes, bomb, and a lot of health to work with, too. The first problem in the way is Sticko, and he'll be here to contend at a time through heaven with an AUG in hand. It's a great weapon for the job, but apparently the timing isn't as he continues to dance around the heaven pillar. Zan is certainly going to clear this, or so you would assume. You want to have this little avenue for a post plant, but instead of hard committing to a fight, he just decides to molly it off. Plant for himself behind the site pillar. Molly going to force him back into the welcoming arms of Sticko, but doesn't preemptively swing just yet. Again, trying to buy time for the rotation, trying to buy time for his teammate, not knowing where Zan's going to go, but that tick may give it away. The long flank is soon to activate too, so eventually Knock will put this round to bed. And Illuminar, they tried their best to make a round out of it, but Apeks are just too damn good, it seems.
Completely different from what the numbers say, but again, the numbers are just there as a guidance, not necessarily reflecting how the teams have been playing lately. All today, of course, because you do see from time to time a team just having a very good day. Now, it wasn't really the case in the first map. I mean, Illuminar won that fair and square, and as you said, it was a 16-12, but still, technically, it should have been not that close, as Illuminar played really well. Now, here on Anubis, Apeks, they're playing insanely well, not giving anything away to Illuminar. And that's exactly maybe what Illuminar were used to, right? They were used to people just not trying those aggressive plays, or maybe trying them and failing at them. But Apeks, no, they know exactly what they're doing. And I really like the playstyle that Apeks are showing here on the second map. Now, they are trying to get it all the way to overpass, as the percentages are in their favor on that map. But still, they still have to get 7 more rounds, and they're looking to get double digits in this first half. Morels is very close to taking here inside the cave, and he will actually win the duel.
Timing's everything, and Morels finally gets one to go his way, but it's not the end of days yet. We've seen Apeks hold on to rounds similar to this in this map, so a lot of work still needs to be done. And I like the counter utility they've presented themselves to give more of an opportunity back into this one. We're instantly down to 4-on-4 with rotations being pulled in around the board, and everybody's staying alive. Killing it from their respective defaults finally as this dust starts to settle. It's a 2-on-2 once more. And I don't think we've seen Apeks win a round like this entire game. I think we've seen it happen 3 times. Maybe the 4th is what they need to finally start swinging it back in their direction. But Masked and Toao probably have something different to say, as you've got a man tucked behind the pillar in front of the site. I don't even know what the specific call for this would be. So it goes to show you, there's no way in hell Illuminar, maybe there will be. I certainly thought Apeks were never clearing that, but apparently they will. And now it's all up to Zan, as the defuse is going to be stuck by Sticko. He'll have to run through his smoke. JL peppering in bullets on the wrong side, and with the spam connecting, Zan's spray transfer wins another for Illuminar. It's very heroic. It's very individual oriented, but you need anything to break the momentum streak and get you back in the running.
Well, good clutch there by Zen. Maybe that is the force that gets Illuminar back in the game, right? Because one of those, sometimes you just need a very good individual play to start your team's engines. And Mast finding kicks in there, trying to be aggressive against Apeks. This time it will backfire. Mast has the right idea, as JL was getting closer to mid. Good nade in front of that A site. Knock peeking in with the op to make it equal once again, but JL will take that chance to push through mid and get a lot of info. Try and even get behind Illuminar here, and oh, this can be very scary if JL finds the right timing. Mast is looking in his direction. He gets one, the second as well. That's the bomb down, and he's still alive in the back of Illuminar. Beanox will trade, but that's still a lot of info that Apeks already have.
Oh no. Exchanging glances though. Jacob and Morels take another duel. It seems like these two are evenly matched, at least on this map. We've seen this happen a couple of times now. And Beanox, I mean, he's done some pretty incredible things this series so far. I don't know if this will be one to add to the resume, but still, there's a lot of ways to get back into this round, if you ask me. Apeks, they've gifted him a big opportunity right now. And Beanox, if he were to walk into A right now, he wouldn't be spotted in the slightest. Now, finally, you see Jacob getting a little uneasy in his position. He goes around both choke point angles. And slowly, but surely, decides to hold on to connector more, or at least strictly. And as soon as he walks in, Should be sent out. Shaky spray on the M4, but Apeks will still capitalize for double digits in the first half, no less. Impressive scenes here on the CT side of Anubis.
Yeah, very, very well done so far by Apeks. Looking to close it out as an 11-4. Now that is, as we know, a richer scoreline, but we'll see if that will be the case. Apeks, this should be a very good chance for them to make it to 11, right? Because Illuminar, they're playing with a couple of Mac 10s, a couple of thick 9s, and an AK for Morels, sure. But so far, Morels has been the only one that really showed up here for Illuminar. He's the only one that got them all the way here, to be honest, because his teammates, they've been pretty silent so far. Kickson, he takes down exactly the player we were talking about. Morels, he's out of the round, and he has to rely on his teammates to get everything done here. Now, Seiko might be overwhelmed as they're pushing through. Zan almost goes down as well. This is a 3-on-3, and Knock, he's waiting for the aggression into Tuao. That's exactly where he goes to.
I guess Tuao isn't the worst player to fall in a situation like this. You're really relying on Masks to dig you out of this hole, though. He's the only one with a reasonable amount of HP, and he doesn't even have a gun. Flash misses the mark and blinds him up. That was the only piece of utility they had left. Now it's just raw aim duels that have to pull them across the finish here, looking for a couple of maybe frags from off angles, but even though he's got the bomb, I actually don't think it matters all that much. If he didn't find anything, then the round wasn't going to be won. And it's a quick finish. Apeks, impressive half. Now they go to the T side to see if they can't replicate it.
Oh, 11-4. Completely different, again, from what we would have expected. Now, they're getting on the CT side, Illuminar. Their T side is technically the stronger side, as you would expect. And, well, by far. That's what I'm trying to say. Not even 50% on the CT side. But we'll see. Chances are still there. 7 rounds difference. By now, they do look like a lot. But make sure that those rounds can go away very fast. That's why 11-4 gives you that false sense of security. We'll see if Zonic's law is applying to this Anubis as well, because Apeks, for sure, they want to dodge it. And with the pistol round, they can get very close to their objective of sending us to overpass as well.
I mean, they found the right track, but does it end in success? We're about to find out, because this pistol could pretty much push them across that boundary needed for overpasses guarantee. And Zan isn't blinded up in the slightest by whatever pieces of utility they throw in. I adore the angle he played, but now they're just trying to play a secret service mission of throwing the bomb into the site and hopefully getting a plant out of it, in which they deliver. But now they're all pinched in. You've got this flank activating from every direction, though honestly, it feels like Illuminar might be cooking up a little too much, and the individuals don't win their duels like they were supposed to. And even Beanox gets absolutely railed as he comes back in from Palace. The opening pick goes Illuminar's way, but everything else is a tsunami against them. And Apeks may have just gotten the Anubis win condition.
Apeks just feeling alive, coming back alive on the second map after the first one was questionable. Now, they could close it out here very fast. As Illuminar are forcing up, this could be the chance for Apeks to reach 14 to make it to a 10-round lead and basically a two round away from the second map win, taking away the enemy's map pick. And I will see if they can get it done, right? Because still the game is not over. Still we've seen some promise from Illuminar. Not a lot, but there's still a chance for them into this one as well. As Stiko goes down, taken out by Tuao, and makes it a 5-1-4, but it's going to be very hard to retrieve that weapon, and JL will make sure that he's going to make it very hard to retrieve it. Throw the weapon inside, well, in the water, so maybe they can't find it anymore. Only to just force them back, and they have complete control of water. Could go towards that B site where Beanox is by himself with a deagle.
And here's another problem that presents itself. Besides that flashbang, there's really nothing else left for the side of Apeks, and they're still getting tagged on the site's entrance. So much damage being dealt eventually, that dam is going to break loose. JL currently trying to patch up the cracks alongside him and shake him, and through his smoke goes Kixon. All of a sudden, as soon as you think Illuminar have a chance, it's ripped from their cold, dead hands. And Mask can only hope to save the MP9 going forward, as Illuminar have again been steamrolled for another one.
$13 for Apeks. Not looking to stop here, not looking to give anything away to Illuminar in the second half, just to force the issue, to force the third map as soon as they can. And well, we were talking about how the percentages on the first two maps were in favor of Illuminar. For the third one, it is in favor of Apeks. Both teams played a lot of overpasses, but we'll see it when we get there, because we still need to finish off this one. The second map in the noob is the pick of Illuminar. Now, Apeks, they will be very happy to just find pistols into this one from Illuminar, but it will be the buy round, and that buy round is basically what decides the game, right? It is the chance for Illuminar to try and get 10 in a row just to tie it up. But if they can manage to do so, that is map point for Apeks. And look at that from Jacob. They know exactly what to do against this type of push, because that's what they did. That's how they won a round on the CT side, pushing with P250s through mid. If the enemy tries to do the same, well, of course we're going to know how to react to it. That's our play. 14 for Apeks. And now Illuminar, they're going to buy that buy round that I was talking about, that can decide the outcome of this map.
Yeah, that's usually something teams are good at doing. If they can do it well themselves, they're usually good at holding on to it as well. It's kind of the duality of man that you see a lot in Counter-Strike. So I don't know if that was the best play Illuminar could have made, but it was pistols regardless, so I don't think it mattered all that much in the grand scheme. This rival round most certainly will, because while obviously a comeback still seems improbable at this rate, you want to keep that probability on the board in existence. It all starts with this right here. And so far, it's maybe not off to the greatest of starts as you force their hand out of connector, and they've just forfeited up the map control. They're not even going to bother trying to hold on to it. Morel's only exchanging Molotovs, not even glances in mid. You can see the shyness of Illuminar in this round. Apeks, they are dominating in every facet, physically and mentally in this game.
Oh, Morels, he was tagged through the door there, but he does take down Jacob. So it is not a bad start for Illuminar, getting the opening pick there and mid, but oh, a nade that almost takes down Morels. That was a very well placed one, and the second one actually takes down Morels. Tico finds Toao, and all of a sudden A site is open, and Apeks have the player advantage. None of them have lost any HP. Oh, and it's going to be very hard to push through the smoke here, because Kixon is just on the other side, waiting exactly for that push that Illuminar are trying to go for. Zan left by himself inside Temple, spotted Kixon. There's some info that he can use, but still, they need to get onto the site, otherwise it's map point.
Yeah, I already think this one's called off, though, man. I mean, this one seems unrealistic to even attempt right now, and I imagine that Apeks are going to try to push this down a little bit, see if they can't take guns out of enemy hands. Zan being the first one of question, and he wins his duel, but maybe another looms against him on the horizon if the smoke is thrown through. Zan has to pull the sidearm. He ran out of bullets in the primary. Oh, that's the most unfortunate way to lose your gun, and I think everybody the T side's going to hold on to theirs. That sucks. If you're Illuminar, you were praying that he could have dropped somebody. Zan dropping another M4 down would have been huge for you in this round, but now there's going to be weak spots. At least one of them, whether it's utility, whether it's not having kits, whether it's somebody on an MP9, it's going to be in effect this round.
What about someone on a P90? Because right now, Jacob has a P90. Something that I guess... I think I saw it once before on the CCT. And well, he's going to be the first one to push through. Let's see how they react. Well, they're just going to take him down. So the P90 didn't really do a lot. Now they are in a 3-on-4. They do lose 2 players. The Molly doing very well to hold them at bay, and the M4 of Beanox doing the same, the double kill there to just stop the advance. But they're still going to try and push through. Molly to force Beanox in the back of the platform. They're in a 2-on-4. It's it is very hard to get anything done here. They could sneak through the smoke to get the bomb back, but still, it should still be the defense of Illuminar doing the heavy lifting into this one. I mean, shouldn't be any issues in finishing them off. And indeed, now in a 4-on-1 knock in T spawn, basically just looking to save.
I'm gonna say, what is he going for here, man? I mean, what's he trying to save? He's got $8,000, $9,000 even. I mean, the reason this is so big too is because even if you go in, get one, and die, look at what that does to Illuminar right now. They've got nothing built up. Any kill here is massive. It's crucial. I think Knock realizes that the risk reward is just so skewed in your favor that saving doesn't make sense. He's going to start to creep and crawl back in. If you can somehow drop this hopper, I mean, that'd be massive. That's a gun they literally can't get back. So maybe you try to stop them from playing the retrieval mission as 2CT swing out. I believe Toa will go up to pick up the op. But still, that's just way better for Illuminar than having had save.
Now, they still need 10 rounds in a row to just force overtime. And I feel like that's going to be very hard by the way Apeks have been playing. They've been playing very well. Now, they did have a little bit of a hiccup in the previous round, right? They were trying to push through a smoke into a molly and into about 3 players. So that usually doesn't go your way. But let's see what they can get done here, because there is a way. Like, we've seen 10 rounds in a row from time to time, but it all comes down to if Illuminar can get their head back into the game, because it seems like Apeks, they were dictating the pace. Now, Morels finds JL, so that is a good entry. Again, getting the number advantage early for guys in blue at the moment, but we'll see if they can stop the advances as well. Mass has a good angle here, so it should be pretty hard for Apeks to get into that A main position, although with the flashes that I've seen thrown on this map before, might be Mass being blinded up for a little bit.
Mass isn't the one of contention yet, though. It's Morels who's been spotted and put in hot water over in mid. The kill comes back, and all the hard work they did to deliver themselves an opening pick is now gone with the wind. Masked gonna have to work against it, but I'm surprised they don't actually throw that flash. I mean, look, you talked about how they exist. They're there, but they just don't use them. And that's the third time now they've been picked off by an opera. Actually, no, I'm sorry, that was the first half, but it's a very common spot for an opera to place. You'd imagine they would flash it off regardless. Maybe just trying to favor the element of anonymity. Master is still just gonna have a feeding frenzy as they go into the A site. This one seems a lot less common to go ahead and flash off, and Mast has the perfect angle play around. It's the perfect pillar and the perfect crime. As the bomb spotted, he'll just jiggle right into the scope, and this is going to be instantly called off. Apeks, no question of going for it or not. The question's only if they can hold onto their guns, which it looks like the answer is yes.
At least they got that going for them, but the final round that they need to find, that is not going for them just yet. Again, they need 9 more, so it's still a very big task, very big ask of Illuminar, especially how their T side again was their favorite side and wasn't one that they necessarily got anything of note done. But there are still chances. Nothing is over until we get 16 in regulation from a team. But Apeks, they might soon run out of money, so Illuminar, they could use that to try and get more on the board. At least get them a little bit more comfortable for the third map, right? Because if you win your enemy's map pick in a close situation, then you lose your own heavily. Well, that wouldn't give me, at least it wouldn't give me a lot of confidence going into the third one. But I'm sure, again, they can be a team that can reset kicks in. And Jacob, they get a couple of kills, and this might be the round that they needed. A 4-on-2 already, and they will get the bomb down onto the site.
This ain't one Illuminar can save. No, you're going to have to try to round this one home. And they're both coming through from Palace. Arguably the most funnel way back into a round like this. So instead of taking the easy route, just give me an extra second or two, and we'll see if we can't make something happen. But the long-range flash does not work on Knock. And now Morels is all the more understood of his position, still posted up on by 2 ops, and it's insult to injury. Apeks, it's their steamrolling of Illuminar's strongest map in the pool that sends us all the way here to Overpass, a map I genuinely thought we were never going to get to.
I mean, especially how Illuminar were looking in the first map. That's exactly what I was thinking as well. No way they can surprise Illuminar on this second map, on their own map pick, and on their best map. What a way to come back into this best of 3 Apeks. Wonderfully done. And as you said, Overpass is the third map. Percentages are looking better for Apeks. Both of the teams have played a lot of Overpasses in the previous 3 months, so we'll see what can get done there. But of course, it's going to be a break. Before we get to that, make sure you check out the other region, because in the other region, I'm curious what game is being played there. It is GODSENT taking on Into the Breach. GODSENT just lost today in the West Europe series in the playoffs, and now they're being led by Into the Breach, so that is an interesting one as well. But we're going to throw it to a break. When we come back, it will be Overpass.